Hey guys, welcome to Playerole and welcome to DM Talk. This is episode 2 of DM Talk. Tonight we're going to talk about 3 topics. 3 simple, well, it's never simple, but 3 topics indeed. 3 topics about Dungeons and Dragons, about just role playing in general. The topic number 1, game mechanics. Let's talk about game mechanics. I know the last episode I said a lot of things about game mechanics, but I will tell you one thing. Game mechanics, they are not a hindrance. I did say they are last time, but let me explain further what I mean about it being a hindrance and not a hindrance or whatnot. Okay, for example, game mechanics. In game mechanics you have, so you can see here, you have your move, your turn, your action, your bonus action, all that good stuff. Do you need to know it? Yes, you do. Is it important? Of course it is. If a player forgets about what they're doing, if they forget a certain action, or if they did too many, it happens. We're all human, we make mistakes, and so forth. But game mechanics, are they the drive for the RPG? No. In my opinion, they're not. I know a lot of DMs, a lot of professionals are going to say, well, Henry, you're wrong. That's crap. You're completely wrong about the game mechanics. It's the drive for the RPG. No, it's not. Let me explain why. Our role-playing games is just that, role-playing. You act out your character, and you have the mechanics, right? And each role-playing game has a different game mechanic. But if you do not role-play that character correctly, the way you see it in your mind, don't matter if you have the best game mechanic, it's always going to ruin your session. And it's always going to ruin your game. How can it ruin your game? Well, let's say I describe a scene. Let's say that I am in town. I have my sword at my side, right? And I need to roll or perception, for example. You look around, there's somebody looking at you from around the corner. What do? Well, maybe you don't know what you do. Maybe you look at the DM, what can I do? Okay, make a perception roll. You fail that roll. What is needed? You roll on a d20, and then you add your modifier. You exceed that DC, and you make it. Well, that's the mechanic. It's not hard. Some people take it to the extreme. No. Sometimes you forget, maybe it's investigation, or maybe it's another check. I need to investigate the situation. Well, it all depends on what you do. It all depends on what you do as a DM. But if you make a mistake saying what it is, then move on. The game mechanic is not going to rule the overall game. It's the story that rules the game. It's the people in that story. Because you can say what you want. You can say, oh, damn, I didn't make a perception check, or I should have made a perception check. Well, did the DM tell you to make a perception check? No. DM didn't tell you to make a perception check. Well, guess what? Move on. If you, here's another scenario. You're in a tavern, right? You see a shady character across the way. He's looking at you. I describe a scene. I look at the players. What are you doing? Oh, DM, I'm going to order some ale, or I'm going to order some food. I'm going to call the waitress or the bartender. I want to go to the bartender. I'm going to order some drinks for the rest of the party. Okay, do what you got to do. The player says, oh yeah, I want to make a perception roll. You don't need to. Why? Describe what you're doing. I'm looking around. What do I see? You see this guy. He has a cloak. He has a mug. He's sipping his mug and he's looking at you. What are you doing? Huh? Well, describe what you're doing. The game mechanic is the roll. Doesn't mean you'll succeed or fail. It all depends on what you get on roll. That's the game mechanic. Part of it. Is it pertinent to the game? Yeah, it is pertinent to the game. Is it when a rule or a game mechanic gets in the way of the story, gets in the way of the action, your feeling, your role playing, it destroys the essence of what role playing is. Yeah. Here. I can tell you. Look, very simple. The hide, the dodge, disengage, cast a spell, all that stuff. You know? You need it for the game. Is it important? Absolutely. But if it ruins the essence of the role playing, if it ruins the essence of the game, no, it's not. Well, Henry, you're talking a lot of crap. How the hell can it ruin the essence of the game? Here's the same scenario. You're in the tavern. The player grabs his mug. He orders from the bartender. He looks around. He sees in the corner, he sees that shady character looking at him. He sees that person. What does he do? DM, I want to make a perception roll. DM, I want to investigate the situation. Okay, tell me what you're doing. No need to roll unless I say I'm going to roll. Oh, you're controlling the situation. No, I'm not controlling the situation. Just tell me what you're doing. Oh, I want to go up to that person. Okay. Oh, okay, wait a second. I'm going to use my spell. That's where the mechanic comes in again. I want to start doing all these things to make a situation bigger than it already is. You're in that tavern. All you had to do is look. Simply look around. I never said that guy, was shady. Granted, in the beginning I said, the guy's in shadow, he's wearing a cloak, he has a mug, he's looking at you. Yeah, to everybody. This is a tavern, everybody looks at you. All depends on how you look at it. Now in role-playing, we have a tendency as a player, and it's called min-maxing. And min-maxing, you have a tendency of increasing your character, making them better, knowing shit before it happens. So it all depends on what you want to do. It all depends on what you want to do as a player. Do I get up? Oh, not min-maxing, sorry, metagaming. Brain fart. Metagaming. What is metagaming? Knowing things before they happen. Because in real life, if somebody's looking at you, or in a tavern, you're going to be like, oh, okay, something's wrong here. Something's out of place. Is it out of place? No, it's not out of place. That person is merely drinking some ale or whatnot. That person is just doing his thing. Now, will you be a metagamer and jump to the cause? Most players don't know they're metagaming. They just do it. Well, I'm going to get up. I want to do my thing, and I'm going to look across the way, and I'm going to see that player. I'm going to see that other player. He's doing that. He's looking at that shady character. Maybe I should look at him too. Player number 2 sees the other player looking at the person in the tavern that's supposedly shady, And he looks, oh, I'm going to go screw with him. So they approach the shady character. They both approach the shady character, and what do they see? They see a guy drinking some ale. So they start crap with him. So that's, in essence, what role-playing is, right? You look around, you see what's going on, the DM describes the scene, and you role-play your character. But when you focus on a rule or a mechanic of the game, and you focus on that and not your character, what would my character do? Wait, let's look at the D&D Beyond app and let's see what this character has that I can use, instead of getting into character and role-playing. Oh wait, I have this fancy feat that I can use. I have this fancy broadsword that I can grab. I have this spell that I can use against that poor individual across the way. So what do we do? What do we do as players? What do we do as a DM? The DM just kind of sits and waits for the players to react. That's what I would do. I would wait and see what the party does. Now, if they grab that person, throw them across the room, beats the hell out of them, stuff like that, hey, there are consequences to doing stuff like that. Are you playing an evil character, chaotic neutral, all that type of stuff? What are you doing to making things good or bad in the game? It all depends on how you look at it. But the reality is, what will make that gameplay better? Will it be, hang on a second, let me look at what I got in my book of feats, spells, different actions I can do? When you're a high-level character and you have more than one action, I get it. You have to look at your stuff. But as a DM, when I go to that player, be ready. Because in real life, I know this is role-playing, this is not real life, but in a way, it's like real life, almost. You're gonna act. You're not gonna be like, hang on, let me look at my list. Let me look at my list of feats, and hang on a second, I have this super weapon I could use, or I have this spell, or wait, in the player's manual, it tells me to use these things that could help me in combat. No, bullshit. No. Use your head and role play the scene. Role play. That's how we do it. When you're at a bar and somebody comes up to you, you're looking at them, and they're like, hey man, why are you looking at me, man? And there's active aggression. What do? Oh man, sorry man, I had too much to drink or whatnot. Role play the scene. It's about the time and energy that you put into that scene. It's about the story as well. That could be a shady character in a corner in that tavern. Role play it. Oh wait, I'm gonna make a perception roll. No, look. You're looking that way, right? What do I see, DM? Oh, he's drinking. Oh, okay. Anything unusual? No, sir. Can I make you a perception roll? Fine, make it. I got a 21. Oh, fucking A, you got a 21. But guess what? It still doesn't make a difference. Nothing unusual. You know, players in general, and I've been role-playing for a long time, they want to use the rules. They want to use the rules and the game mechanics to get ahead, or to get ahead in their game, to make them better, to min-max per se, to make them super. And you know what? You want to do that? It challenges me. Great. But And let's go back to metagaming. Let's go back to metagaming. Metagaming, when you look at the other player and you know that they're looking at that guy in the tavern, right? Instead of, oh, I'm getting a drink at the bar, I'm enjoying the drink, getting into the story. Oh, make a perception roll as DM. You got to make a perception roll or whatnot and blah, blah, blah. You got to do this. No, I don't fucking have to do that. Role play the scene. Period. Role play it. You're at a tavern. You're there to drink ale, to relax, or do whatever with your party members. But people are going to be like, well, I'm going to min-max now. I'm going to use what I have on my list as a character to fuck the scene up, to really bring things up, to really destroy that scene. That's what min-maxers do. Why? It challenges me. I think it's fun, but it's almost laughable because you're there at a tavern to enjoy yourself, but you want to grab somebody and get violent or do whatever, blah, blah, blah. Fine, do it. You're role-playing your character, right? Or are you role-playing your character? Or you're doing it just for shits and giggles, right? What about metagaming? Let's go back to metagaming. Let's go back to the players. Your party. There's a guy outside. Oh, there's trouble in the tavern. You're not in the tavern, are you? You're at the inn with 3 other players. So why did you go to the tavern? Because you heard of what's going on. Here's what I have a problem with the mechanics. Let's say you have experience, right? You're a DM, you're running experience. You know that half the party is going in the tavern, and you know that the other side of the party is going at the inn. They're getting ready, they're tired, they've been fighting before, whatever, so they need a rest, right? So the 2 guys that are left in the tavern are starting a fight with the poor guy in the shadows, just drinking his ale. He's starting a fight, and then out of the shadows, 2 other guys comes out, and they start a big fight, right? The guys from the inn are tired, so they're gonna get ready to take their armor off and go to sleep or whatnot. Instead of role-playing and saying, hey, I'm going to take my armor off, get ready to go to bed, or role-play and say, well, I want to see where the other guys are at. All right, let's go to the tavern. My point is this. You're going at the inn. You're tired. You're going to go to sleep. Why would you go to the tavern? When you discussed as a party, hey guys, go to the inn, get some rooms for us. We'll be there in a little while. We're just going to have some drinks. Fine. What are you, their keeper? Are you the mom and dad of the players, of your friends in the party? They're having a drink at the tavern, as far as you know. So, in reality, your character is going to be like, I'm going to take my armor off, or I'm going to, get some Z's. Meanwhile, the other guys are getting in a fight. Here's where metagaming comes in. Oh, I'm going to roll for perception. Or I'm going to make a certain roll, right? So do I hear something? You're too tired. Make a constitution roll. Oh, DM, that's crap. No, it's not. You're tired. You've been exhausted from fighting before. But yet the DM has to make a call, right? So my call would be, hey, just What are you doing? Oh, I want to make sure. So instead of getting into your character and saying, well, I'm going to go to sleep, I'm going to relax, I'm going to go get up because I want to hear a commotion that you're in a tavern, you're tired, you've just chilled out. And the commotion can be a rowdy tavern. People are drinking. So why are you going to the tavern? Oh, there's a huge explosion. No, there isn't. There's just a fight. That's very common in a tavern. But since you're playing for experience and all you want is experience, obviously to get to another level, you're metagaming. And you're going, hey, I'm going to go to the tavern. Oh, bullshit. No. You're not metagaming. That's not what metagaming is. Yes, it is. Instead of chilling out at the tavern and saying, I want to wait for my friends. Oh, wait, I'm tired. I'm sleeping. An hour goes by. Oh, they're not back yet. How do you know? They have their own room, right? You got them a room, right? Are you their keeper? See what I mean? That's an example. Let's go back to the tavern. They get in a big fight. Let's say they end up winning. They take some gold, silver pouches, and they beat up a couple guys, if not more. So now you got to deal with the town guards. Anyways, game mechanics, per my example, to get in the way. Oh, I know somebody's going to say, well, Henry, you're wrong. That's complete crap. That's not the way it works. Actually, yes, it does. Because the reality is, whether a player likes it or not, or a DM, whoever it is, likes it or not, they use metagaming as an excuse to go from one scene to another. Because if you're playing for experience and your group breaks away and one group goes and gets experience in the fight and the other group is not, they're doing role playing, wouldn't you want to get that experience? So what are you going to do? Oh, wait, you're going to come up with a cockamamie bullshit excuse and you're going to get up and you're going to go to the other way. That's crap. Oh, wait, but per the rules, everybody gets equal experience. Sorry, bullshit. I think that the guys that are sleeping or at the inn shouldn't get any experience. Why should they? Tell me what you guys think. Let me know what you guys think. Put it in the comments, please. Let me know what you guys think about the game mechanics. How do you feel about game mechanics? Am I wrong? Am I full of crap? Let me know. This is what DN Talk is about. Okay, next topic. This is a pretty good topic to me. It's very important to me, at least. Descriptions of a game. In a role-playing game, as a DM, like I said, we're human. We're not robots. We're not AI. When I describe a scene, you have to make sure that your language, your verbiage is good. Because if not, it's going to confuse the players. And sometimes, the heat of battle, is it combat or is it a scene where everyone is talking at the same time? And to me, that just really pisses me off. I'm going to tell you straight out, if I'm describing a scene and somebody else is talking, have respect for me and that other player. You talk over people, there's a lot of confusion and so forth. So if I'm describing a scene and if I describe, well, you are, again, that tavern, and I describe that shady character, or maybe that guy grabbing that mug, starts drinking, right? But maybe I don't describe the two people behind it, or I did, and the player doesn't catch it. Well, somebody's going to say, hey, didn't you describe those two guys behind him? Yeah, I did. Or, no, you didn't. I didn't hear you. Well, other players are jumping in. Descriptions are so important for a DM, so important for the party. Now, how does that work for you? Let me know in the comments. Let me know what you think about descriptions. Are you pretty descriptive as a DM? Are you descriptive as a player? Do you describe your long flowing hair, your sword at your side? Do you have an ivory hilt? Just whatever. Do you like describing your character, or are you pretty blank? He's got a hat, like the Three Musketeers wore. I've got a rapier at my side. That's pretty much it. Just whatever. Is descriptions important to you? Is that something you should, you want in a game? Is that something that's important to you? Because I think in every game, whether it's Dungeons and Dragons or wherever game you're running, I believe 100% that descriptions are very important. DM described the scene. In the horizon, you see something coming at you. It looks like a bird. Well, it doesn't look like a plane. You're in a fantasy setting. So, as a DM, there's a lot of things happening. And sometimes, there's talking and there's a mix-up. It happens. We're not AI. We're human. We make mistakes. And mistakes are warranted. It happens. I make a lot of mistakes. I'm not perfect. I've been gaming for a long time, but I still make mistakes. But in the heat of the moment, if you're role-playing, to me, role-playing is the number one thing, period. Sorry, just the way I feel. Because as much as this book, all right, it's a good book. Xanathar's Guide to Everything, great book. A lot of good stuff in here. But if you have a great story and you're in the heat of the moment and you go to the book for a certain rule or a certain mechanic, it's going to ruin it. That's just me. But let's go back. You're describing the scene, right? And this is kind of intertwined with game mechanic. So you're describing the scene and you're describing the dragon or the evil demon that you're describing, horn protruding and all that stuff. And you're in combat. And one guy goes, well, I've got my action, my bonus action. Oh man, fuck, I screwed up. I have to redo this. I have to, oh man. You know what? You're in combat. Do it. Attack, use a spell. As a player, you have a big responsibility. And that responsibility is to know your character. Know your character, what the character does. Does he have a bonus action? How many actions you have? That's all important in a game. Is it part of the game mechanic? Yes. Now, topic number 2. We got back to the game mechanic. It's all intertwined, all connected. Let me show you. Descriptions of the game. If I'm describing a scene, especially in combat, and I'm not describing it well, then that combat in that scene is completely meshed up. And let me describe to you a scene. All right, so you're up against a dragon, right? A red dragon, an adult red dragon. You know that he has legendary actions. They have 3. You know that it has legendary resistance. They have 3 a day that they can use, right? So they have high AC, high hit points. We know all that. What does that mean to you? Well, that is one bad motherfucker. Yes. You have the players, they're on the table. I describe the dragon. I do its multi-attack, right? But when the player 1, right? When I'm done with my actions, with everything, then it's the player 1's turn. Player 1 goes. After they're done with their action, then what do I say? Legendary action. But what if I say it before? I screwed up, or maybe I didn't say it loud enough, or maybe I didn't say it at all. I just used fire breath or a wing attack, which takes 2 actions. Okay, I've done that. Does that confuse a player? Yes, it does. As a DM, you're responsible. Yes, on the player side, they're responsible for their character. They're responsible to know what they got. But as a DM, you're responsible to know how many actions you have, and so forth. Now, as I said before, game mechanic. This is where the game mechanics come in. The game mechanics help with delivering your scene. Yes, it does. Now, when a game mechanic interrupts that flow, then put the kibosh in it and continue. And then talk about it away from the table. Talk about what happened away from the table. Does that piss off players? Yes, it does. Does that piss off DMs? Yes, it does. It does. People make mistakes. Now, when I'm describing that same scenario, that dragon, the players, and let's say I don't say legendary action loud enough. That player doesn't, before they go to player 2 doesn't hear that and goes. And I say, wait, he's doing a legendary action. And they're going to say, I didn't hear you, but I said it. See, that's where descriptions are important. You have to be clear as DM. And sometimes it happens. Sometimes you screw up in transition. Sometimes when you're trying to say something, or you're excited, or your adrenaline is up because of the game, you say, hey, and it doesn't come out. That supposedly is a legendary action. Or if you're doing MCDM's version of creatures, it would be a villain action. So either way, you have to be clear. As a DM, you have to be clear in what you're saying, what you're doing. And as a player, the same goes. If you talk low and I can't hear you, or a DM can't hear you, no, you're going to have to talk high, raise your voice, and start speaking, start telling me what you're doing. Okay. So the next topic, and hopefully, again, tell me in the comments what you think. You disagree with me highly or somewhat agree with me. I can take it. Let me know what you guys think. Last topic here we have, I call it handle over-the-top players. How do you handle over-the-top players? Okay, this is on min-maxing. Min-maxing is you go on Reddit or you go somewhere and then you find another build and you bring that build to that sessions table, that DM's table. So now you have that super character that you've researched, and now you're min-maxing. You are making the best possible character. Well, to me, it's a challenge. I don't care. Some DMs don't like it. Some DMs are like, why are you min-maxing? No, that's crap. I want to pick an arcane archer because, or even better, metagaming and min-maxing. This is great. All those zombies should have a certain amount of hit points. Really? How do you know they're not homebrew? That dragon should have a certain amount of hit points. That challenge rate of that dragon should be a certain challenge rate. Why is he beefier? Well, why don't you roleplay your character? Why don't you worry about your character and don't worry about everything else? Aren't you responsible for your character? Why are you worried about everything and not worried about your stuff? That's min-maxing, right? You're going to say, oh no, that's not what min-maxing is. And metagaming. You're doing both. You're looking in the DM's guide or the monster manual for that certain creature that you're fighting. And you're looking for the weaknesses of the creature, the condition, the resistances, and so forth. Or you might have it to memory. You might say, hey, that dragon has so many hit points. There is no way I killed him. Really? Did you? How do you know it's not homebrew? See, metagaming, min-maxing, and game mechanics, all three can ruin a game completely. Because when you have a person who says, hey, I'm doing Tennessee Volunteer 85, this is a problem of gaming with high level character. You're right. Tennessee Volunteer 85, hey, what's up? You're right. That's the problem with high level characters. That is a big problem. And I agree with you. But there's nothing wrong with having high level characters. If the game is set up like that, you can let me see, Tennessee Volunteer 85, what do you think about your group? If you're a DM, where do you start your players at? Level 5, level 1, level 10? Let me know. Let me know in the comments. Where do you start off with your players at? Having high level characters, is that a problem? Yeah, that can be a big problem. But is it fun? Yeah, it's fun. But can it be a challenge for most DMs? Yes, it can be. When you have 8, 9 players and they're all level 20, and in the last episode, they were all high level characters, but they made it that far. They achieved level 20. And for me, that was an experience. I've never done that before. Depends on players. Interesting. For me, having those guys get to that level, that's awesome. Level 20 is a big achievement. And when you have a mage that has a repertoire of all these spells, yeah, it takes a long time. More fun starting off new. Thank you for your comment. Yeah, you know what? You start off new. Yeah. Season 2, they're going to start off at level 1. Yeah, so we're going to start off at level 1 and then make our way up. We're going to see how that goes. Is it more fun starting off at a lower level? Absolutely. Absolutely. But how do you handle, for this topic, high level characters or over the top characters? You handle them just how they react. I mean, if they're assholes, consequences. In my game, there's consequences. You know, if you do, TPK, I gotcha. That's funny. Thank you for that comment. Yeah, you know, you got to handle them a certain way. Do you TPK them? Do you tell them, hey, you're acting like you're being an asshole? Well, it all depends on the situation. To me, there's consequences. So in a story, if they go off the wall and they're completely over the top, then there's consequences. I love the ape. Okay, I got you. I like that. It all depends on. Thank you for your comment. It all depends on how you handle those players. Now, Can you handle it? It all depends on the DM. The DM can either, TPK, it feels like there's an attack on the players. You don't want to do that. But for me, there's consequences in the story if they go over the top. But remember, going over the top is all part of the gameplay as well. Because when you're level 20, when you get that far, when you get that high, you're almost a god. In the game of D&D, you are. You have so much that you can do. And you're going to go down there and you're going to go to each situation, each scenario, and you're going to be the big bad. Because now that hero can become a big bad. That hero can become that enemy. That hero can become that villain. That hero is the big bad. Because now they have the weight of the world on their shoulders. When they go to town, everybody knows them. Hey, you saved the world. You saved us. But now you're acting like an asshole. Then what? Then how do you deal with that? To me, go to break if you're filming. If you're not on your table, talk it over with the player. Say, hey, what's going on? Talk it over. Maybe they just had a bad day at work, or maybe they're just having a bad day. TPK, I get it. I get it. For some DMs, that's a good way to go. But for me, the way I do it is there's consequences story-wise. But if they're doing it deliberately, or maybe they're not, maybe they don't think they're doing it. Maybe they think they're just not having a good time. Maybe the DM is boring the hell out of them. Talk it over with your players. See what's going on. As a DM, it's not a job, but as a friend, and my players are all my friends, you should talk to them and say, hey man, what's going on? And that's what you do. You don't do it at the table. You don't talk it over at the table. You talk to that person away from the table, because that's the best way to go. Now, the way you handle a situation like this, there's other ways of handling it. You handle this situation with diligence. You handle it with respect. And third is the most important. Be kind. If they're aggressive, something happened. Find out the solution. That's what you do. My table, I love my guys. They're awesome. But they're good people. And everybody has issues. They have good days and bad days. In the last episode, the finale didn't go well for me, but it was great. It was something that I would never turn around. It was perfect in every way. And you know what? As a DM, you make mistakes. My mind went blank, and it just, a player did it. He said, I'm going to take your big bad and screw him over. And he did. And it was great. It's something that I would not change for anything. Now, that's all I have for you tonight. The next episode's coming next week. DM Talk, episode 3. Thank you, Tennessee Volunteer 85, for your comments. Thank you very much. I will see you guys next week.